Welcome into the post-game show here on the Eli and NVHS Sports Network. The Alderson's Awards West post-game show. Awards West in Centralia is your one-stop shop for awards, trophies, T-shirts, and so much more. Find their entire inventory at aldersons.net. And back here, Vince Bruin and myself, Brandon Brown, wrapping up today's action as Eastside Catholic dominates at home 35-13 over the Seattle Prep Panthers. They will improve to 2-1 on the season, while the Panthers will drop to 3-1, both in a solid position to have the final few games play out, because if either one of them loses in that final 4-game stretch, the other could flip-flop. But the tiebreaker at this point would go to Eastside Catholic, which I know for a fact they are very happy about. And this was a game that was dominated from the start, really by Eastside Catholic. Sure, both teams exchanged, huge touchdown passes to get on the board first, but when Seattle Prep missed the PAT on their touchdown, it seemed like everything went downhill for them after that. They just couldn't get going.
It did. In that second quarter, Eastside Catholic won just about every play offensively and defensively. They had over 300 yards of offense in the first half, 28 points in the second quarter. I don't know if Seattle Prep even got a first down in the second quarter, and that was the ball game. And then they just kind of coasted, I would say, in the second half to victory, just trying to avoid making mistakes and hanging on to the ball. Little surprised, though, at the dominance.
Yeah, and I truly do think Eastside Catholic got a chip on their shoulder coming off their last loss on the road in Colorado, and I think at home they felt like they had a lot to prove against a great team.
And they had an extra week to get ready, and I think that helped big, too. And it'll be interesting to see how Prep bounces back. They're a good ball club and well coached, and I think they will be tough next week against Garfield. Game, I guess, at Seattle Memorial Stadium.
Yep. And I think another thing, too, Eastside Catholic was struggling with players out due to COVID in week one against Kennedy Catholic. So that, I honestly do not know who they traveled to Colorado. But
that's a great point.
An extra week then on top of that, get those players back. You have your full roster, and that could be, the difference.
I would imagine, any player that had COVID probably wouldn't be traveling.
Exactly. So they had just extra rest.
I think, that 41-0 score could have been misleading a little bit. And you looked up, that's a fine squad in Colorado. I believe they were 5-0.
And they just won tonight as well. So
yeah, but I don't think that was Eastside Catholic's best shot they got coming off the COVID or whatever. And Seattle Prep definitely got Eastside Catholic's best look tonight.
And a big performance here from quarterback Brady McKeeler. He hooked up on several occasions. Dallas Daly had one. Jacoby had one. Ishe Kanakawe had one. I mean, he was throwing the ball well, and he had a cannon for an arm, and I believe we decided he was going to be our MVP of the game.
I agree, and there was a couple drops, or the stats could have even been bigger. So, outstanding. Outstanding quarterbacking play tonight. The whole team played well. He could have given it to any number of players, but I agree. He was good.
And on the flip side for Seattle Prep, I think we felt comfortable giving it to Jack Villing, the tight end. He came up with big performances. He had a couple of runs. He had a quarterback sneak that got called back. He had that huge touchdown taken off the board, but he was so solid in the passing game, and he gave Braden Smith, who was under constant pressure, a outlet valve. Someone to get that he knew he was down there and could throw it and feel comfortable with it.
You can see how he's a Pac-12 recruit.
Yep.
He's got the size and the quickness and the whole thing going. So he was very evident throughout the game. So, I agree there, too.
So, checking again the upcoming games for both these squads as you hear the victory bell being chimed here for the Crusaders. Eastside Catholic will go on the road at Seattle Memorial Stadium and take on Garfield there next Friday, 7:45, very late kickoff there against the Bulldogs. On the other side, Seattle Prep will play Hotu O'Day as two Seattle private Catholic schools get the matchup there, as those two, the Fighting Irish and the Panthers, have a long history of being some of the biggest rivals in Metro League history, and those two go way back. So 2 big games to look forward to next week, but that will do it for our broadcast here. Again, Eastside Catholic gets the 35-13 win, improved to 2-1 on the season, and Seattle Prep drops to 3-1. For everybody back home in Centralia, you watch a broadcast on the Eli and NVHS Sports Network.